Hello, this is a lot later in the day than I expected it to be, mostly because the weather's been kind of ass. Like, it was actively storming for a bit, but the weather's calmed down. It's cold in the car, but it's not too cold that I can't sit and record. I'll be honest, I don't really have a lot to say for this week, which I feel like has kind of been a trend. I feel like I've been saying that like almost every week for the past like 3-4 weeks. But anyways, there was a new Chainsaw Man. We didn't have to wait 2 weeks for a chapter, which was really nice. Looks like the new devil is the falling devil. There's like, alright, people's fear of heights, people's fear of falling, and like that. I don't know if that's a primal fear, but it might be. Like, that's definitely a common one, and yeah, we're just seeing people fucking fall. We'll kind of see where it goes. I mean, it seems like we're definitely getting into, I don't know. I feel like I've been saying this for Chainsaw Man for a while, too. Like, I don't know if we're starting to move to, like, a climax for part 2, but I feel like we're starting to get to something pretty big. The new chapter of JoJo Land came out. I read that, saw a familiar face, which definitely gets me excited. I don't know if I've really talked about JoJo a whole lot on the channel. I've liked what I've seen. I remember watching parts 1 through 4. I watched a chunk of 5. I just couldn't really get into part 5. Clay has been re-watching the parts. He's been watching them dubbed. He's like, I watched them subbed. Now I'm going to try the dub. And he's now just starting part 5. And it's been fun to kind of like watch it over his shoulder. A lot of it is like while playing Fire Emblem. Which he's playing Fire Emblem, I'm playing Fire Emblem, and then we're both watching JoJo in the back. But so, I haven't read part 6 or watched it. I haven't, same with part 7 or 8. But part 9 is just starting. I'm like, you know what? We'll kind of see what happens. I have an idea of what happens in most of the other parts anyways. I really don't know much about part 8. But, like, it's just starting. It's like a monthly thing. I feel like I kind of might as well. And yeah, I got to see a familiar face. It made me happy. I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. But I feel like the two big things, outside of, like, watching Pokemon, which next week is going to be the end of the Latios arc, all that build-up, and I just don't think I'm going to be satisfied with how it ends. We'll see, but I have a feeling he's not going to catch either her or the Latios, and I'm just going to be left thinking, then why did we spend all this time building it up? Like, this is the big epilogue series, and we've had this recurring plot thread. I thought it was going to amount to something cool. And for all I know, the next episode, like tomorrow's episode, is going to be phenomenal. I'll be like, yeah, it was really cool. But, I don't know. But anyways, point. The two big things are, I'm reading Fate. I'm actually reading the VN. I'm reading the Fate route. I'm enjoying it so far. I really like the bad endings. It's not because I'm like, man, I hate Shiro. I love seeing him explode. But more just, you can kind of tell when one's coming and you're like, oh, that's really bad. This shit is insane. Like, I'm having some fun with it. But I'm not reading Fate as much as I should be because a lot of that time is just spent playing Fire Emblem because Engage is so damn fun. I did Sigurd's map earlier today. Yesterday I did chapter 18, which is the boat, which was fine. And then Corrin's paralogue, which was not the best paralogue, but it was still pretty fun. So today I did Sigurd. The day before, which was when? Today's Thursday. Yesterday was Wednesday, so Tuesday. Tuesday was chapter 17. That was the big one. It's the one that I've been looking forward to essentially my entire playthrough. It's essentially the reason I'm playing it on Maddening. Is like, I want to do this crazy ass map on the hardest difficulty because this shit looks bananas. It was everything I wanted it to be. So, the way I think because the way the map works, if you have not played the game, there are 6 bosses, and each boss has 2 health bars. And the condition of the map is beat all enemy commanders. You gotta beat all 6 of them. So the way I think you're supposed to do the map with the way it's set up is there's Gris, who's a mage, who's like near the top. Like pretty close to where you start. So you're kind of supposed to aggro him, bring him down, kill him, kill his droogs. Then there's a dragon up top, but you can kind of lure it down, take care of it, start moving to the left, and then there's Marnie, who's the armored girl with a bunch of her armored droogs. Once you aggro her, Mavir, the healer on the horse. On the horse. I'm sorry, that sounded really weird the way I said it, but like a cavalry unit who's also a healer with his also cavalry healer droogs will aggro together, and so you got to take care of them at once. You might get like a turn or two with Marnie, but probably not even two. You might get like one turn with Marnie before Mavir really comes in range, but you're going to have to deal with them at the same time. Then that's halfway. Then there's another dragon, so you probably try to aggro that after killing Marnie and Mavir. Then Zephyia, who's kind of the big boss of the map, you probably try to aggro her down, but hopefully she doesn't kill you. Take care of her. And then as Vale and Hyacinth will be coming down. Hopefully you've gotten rid of Zephyia, and then you can take care of the two of them. That's the way I think you're supposed to do the map, because when you look in like where Gris is, there's like no engaged spots. The top corner where that first dragon is, there's like 2 engaged spots, but then behind Marnie and Mavir, there's like 6. So it does kind of seem like, yeah, go do them, go blow your load, do all your shit. Take your breath, reposition, then go deal with this shit. So I kind of did the map a little backwards. Like, I did Gris first, went for that first dragon, then I tried to aggro the other dragon. I was like, let me just take care of both of them, then I'll go down and fight Marnie. But as the dragon aggroed, so did Zephyia. And because Zephyia started moving, Hyacinth and Vale also started moving and came down. They're like, oh, this is a problem. So I spent a turn retreating. The dragon came closer. Zephyia came closer, but wasn't able to attack anybody. And then Vale and Hyacinth are still coming down. I'm like, okay, I have a turn before they get here. So I killed the dragon, killed Zephyia because she didn't have her Thoron equipped. She had her Rider's Bane equipped, which means I was actually able to ambush her effectively. Then as Vale and Hyacinth were there, I had what I like to call a turn from hell. Just one of those turns are like, this is not a great setup, and it's getting really, really hard to get through this turn without someone dying. One of the best things that I have learned about the game is Corrin on Alir. Because Alir, your main unit, her ability when she's as a divine dragon, if you class her into something like specific, like an armored unit or a flying unit, don't know why you do that, it's stupid. So if you've actually done that and it's been successful, I'm not trying to make fun of you. I'm making fun of myself because that's what I did. I turned her into a flying unit. It was like, hey, her stats go up and it gives her more movement. No, she's still ass. Okay. Now that I've already reclassed her, I guess I'll turn her into an armored unit to actually give her some defense. No, she's still ass. She's still dying to everything. What the hell? Her defense is high, but she can't double, so she just gets hit twice and explodes. Why are you so bad? I fucked her up. So then I had to reclass her into a divine dragon again. But not the advanced class. She's back into her base standard class. Anyways, because when she's a dragon, when you put an emblem on her, it gives them more, like, goodies. What happens when you give her Corrin is you have access to all different kinds of terrain. And I've learned that fire terrain is my best friend, because, like, literally it is suppressive fire, and it fucks up enemy movement. So that's how I was able to survive Hyacinth and Vale. Like, there was still other dudes I had to account for, and that's what kind of kept leading to some of my people dying, like some of my squishies in the back. But the fire was able to let me survive the bosses, and boy did that help. I think by the end of the map, I did not have, so like I took care of Hyacinth and the Droogs, suppressive fire to make sure Vale couldn't attack us. Then we took out Vale. Then we marched to the left, aggroed Mavir, and because that happened, Marnie got aggroed too. Suppressive fire, so like, alright, Marnie's not going to be a threat, let's just kill Mavir and his dude. So we did that, and then Marnie just exploded. Because boy, her not having resistance is a bad one. I've got a lot of mages. 17 was fun. It was really, really fun. It was easily the best map in the game so far. I had an absolute riot playing through it. I don't feel like I really have anything else to say. I don't really want to say anything else about the game. It's like, clearly when I'm done with it, I'm going to make a video on it. Like, I just did it with some phone. I've been doing it with all the games I've been trying to play through. But in some ways, I like this game a lot more than Three Houses. In other ways, I like Three Houses a lot more than this game. And I know there's been a lot of memes about how these are the only two Fire Emblem games people have played. I played a couple more. I played Awakening. I played Echo. I loved Echoes. Echoes is so fucking good. Swamp maps can go die in a ditch, but the game is really good. But I think Three Houses is probably my favorite because I loved the story and I loved the sheer amount of customization with your units, which is something I really didn't get in Echoes. Could you actually change people's classes? Like, I think you probably upgrade them a bit. No, you could. But, like, not to the same degree as just all the crazy customization there is in Three Houses. But you definitely, it is still there in Echoes. I think that's just how Fire Emblem works. But, sorry, my brain just stopped for a second. I don't know what happened. But, I really like the game. I don't think the story is anywhere as good as Three Houses or Echoes consistently. Because I think the first third of Engage here, like, I'm not really going to talk about Engage. I'm like, fuck it, I have to keep going. I think the first, 9 chapters, story-wise, it's fine. Chapter 10, maybe that's more just because of the gameplay element of it too, but Chapter 10 is so fun. And it's like, okay, we're getting some crazy story shit happening. Then 11 happens, which is also a big deal. Then the story, stays pretty alright. Chapter 7, and then once you really get to learning about Vale, which part of that is Chapter 10 and 11, and then Chapter 17, I think the game does get more interesting. And it's kind of the way Alear starts to treat Vale. Now knowing a lot more about her, and you get some of the conflict. And I like how in Chapter 10, you're about to run into a trap, and Alear's like, yeah, I mean, it's fine, though. We've been kicking ass. We got all these rings. We got all these allies. I'm the Divine Dragon. I mean, it's probably a trap, but we'll take care of it. And then things go to shit. And then, what chapter is it? It's the miasma one. It's 15 or 16, somewhere around there. When you get Corrin, how afterwards she runs into Vale and she's like, get the fuck out of my sight. I am not dealing with you. I'm not entertaining. Whatever this is, go. And after Vale leaves, everyone's like, should we let her go? She's kind of a threat. It's probably a trap. I'm not falling for traps again. I learned my lesson. Which I feel like that's something I do kind of get from Alear story-wise. You do kind of start to feel the confidence building up. Everything goes to shit. And then kind of starting to build it back. But it feels like I played the female version because I'm going to play the female. I like boobs. That's one thing Three Houses definitely has. It's got Curtis. But, Curtis. I feel like this is a character that does get smarter. And it is kind of interesting to think about how generally Three Houses, I think, has a better story. It has better characters. But Engage has the better protagonist because Byleth just... Sorry, I called Curtis Byleth and I don't know why. That felt weird. But yeah, Curtis doesn't really have a character. There's room to make a good character here, but they just don't. And from what I understand, I know, I played Awakening. Robin has a character. Robin talks. I assume Corrin does. It's literally the plot of the story is Corrin making a big decision, figuring shit out. I imagine they have a lot of personality. I haven't played Fates. I've actually heard it's a very mixed reception. I don't know, but so it's weird how Three Houses handled its protagonist, and I'm very, very glad that got fixed. And then even here in the later game, some of the other characters I think are getting more interesting. Some of their supports are really good. I really like Panette and Pandreo's supports. We find oh, they're siblings, and this is kind of some of their past and how they've dealt with it. This is actually really interesting. Dare I say it, it's actually kind of engaging. I do like it. Now, would I like the game a lot more if one of the emblem rings was Femme Robin? Of course I would, because I adore Fem Robin, because I just do. And it's not even just like because I just do, it's because Smash happened. It's Smash Ultimate, I was like, yo, this character looks really cool. Yo, they have a cute girl version? Oh yeah, like, she's gorgeous. We're gonna play the shit out of this. I was like, yeah, this is my favorite character to play in Smash. Well, okay, I like K. Rool a lot. K. Rool and Incineroar are so fun. Genuinely, though, one of the most fun things to do in Smash Bros. Is what I dub turn-based Smash. Turn-based Smash is when you have two people. I mean, it could theoretically be more, but at least two people. Both people play Mr. Game & Watch, and you take turns just doing the side B, just doing Judgment. That is the most fun shit, because you don't know when the 9 is coming, but it's coming, it's gotta happen, and it's so funny. Like, there have been times where I've not played online Smash in a long time, but I would just, like, sometimes, like, you know what, I just want to play and have fun, because if I play a character I like playing, I'm not going to play to have fun, I'm just going to get mad. So let me just play as Mr. Game & Watch, and I'm just trying to kill people with 9s. I think the, like, 9s in, like, a full bucket. The funniest thing I think I've ever seen happen in Smash Ultimate. So, I was playing Mr. Game & Watch, and this guy was playing as Zelda. You know, I kept throwing out the bucket, because of course I'm going to throw out the bucket, especially against the Zoner character. And so, even though, like, I had no idea who I was playing against, I could hear the gears in their brain turning at one point. Because, like, I hold out the... So, what happens is, like, they send out their down B, the Phantom dude, and I bucket it, and then they were far enough away, but, like, they did the reflect move, so it kind of came back to me, but I don't think they got it quite in time. And I was like, oh, that's a really clever idea. They're going to just try to reflect it back at me, and will that work? Because you can just hold out the bucket. It doesn't have frames where it's like, all right, it's out for 2 frames, then it comes back. Now you just hold it. If I do that, if I just hold it out there for a while, what would happen? And so they do the night again. I hold out my bucket. It bounces off of me. They do their neutral B, the Naryu, the spin around thing. And then I just see the guy go, like, really fast. But because the bucket doesn't disappear, I'm in no danger. But Zelda's neutral B disappears, so after she just explodes. And it was the funniest. This happened like last year, 2 years ago, but I remember that shit. I think I was with a buddy of mine, and she was laughing so hard when that shit happened. It was amazing. Online Mr. Game & Watch, because, like, personally, because I don't play the character. Like, I don't know how to play good Game & Watch. I can only assume there are people who play a really good Mr. Game & Watch and make him fucking scary. But for me, who doesn't know how to play him, he is fun, dumb shit. Like, I don't care if, to me, if I kill you with a 9, I won. Because that's all I want. I just want to spread chaos when I play this character. And it's so fun. Like, just going for trick shots, like jumping off, like as someone's falling, trying to hit them with a 9, or hopefully, like, the thing I really love trying to do is when someone's falling, hit them with an 8, because that's the ice that just lets them fall. It's so fucking funny, man, to play Game & Watch. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. That's how that's been going. We're making a lot of progress in DreamWorks. We're not quite in the single digits yet, but I think we've got 15, 14 movies. I'd like to be in single digits by the time March ends. I don't know if we're going to get that far, but I feel like we'll probably have them done by April. And I think I've said this before, but I do want to do afterwards like a large video, just like, all right, I watched them all. Here is the tier list. Like, this one goes here, this one goes here. And then once I've ranked everything, one of the S tier movies will get like the double S. Like, these are all the ones I consider the best. This one is the best. And then I don't know if I'll do like all my F tiers, which currently there's only one. Shout out to Mr. Peabody and Sherman. But I don't know if I'll kind of rank all my F tiers and then say, okay, this one is the bottom of the fucking barrel. Because it's kind of like, I feel like actually, all right, well, we're going to go for a little bit longer. I want to explain what that ranking means and what it symbolizes. I know I've probably said it before. There are three. By the way, this is from a bottle cap. I don't know if you can see it because I love chewing on plastic. So like anytime I finish them off, I'm like, all right, throw away the bottle, put the cap in my mouth, chew the shit out of it. Do the same thing with toothbrushes. Do the same thing with toothpicks. They're like little flossy toothpicks. I just like chewing on shit. Anyways, point. Three requirements: bottom of the fucking barrel. You have to be at the bottom of the list. Actively disliked. And that one's important because, like, for example, if you ask me to rank all 4 Toy Story movies, I could probably give you a different ranking on any day of the week. But none of them are actively, like, even if I'll say, like, Toy Story 4 is my least favorite today, I still fucking love it. So it doesn't really mean anything. If you ask me to rank, like, all the main characters in Tales of Symphonia, Regal would be at the bottom, but I still like Regal, so he's not a bottom of the fucking barrel character. The active dislike is important. And then 3 has to be so bad, like my dislike is so venomous, I have to genuinely think there cannot be something worse in this world than you. And by this world, I don't mean like planet Earth, but I mean like in this, like DreamWorks movies, Disney movies, Trails characters. I have a bottom of the fucking barrel for that. That's Elise. I hate Elise Schwarzer. I hate everything about her. But the way this term came up was when Clay and I, who just came home, I made a video as he was leaving to go to work, and as I'm doing this when he comes back home. It's kind of a nice bookend, I guess. Clay and I were watching all the Pokemon movies. And after we watched the Genesect movie, because we were ranking them as we went, after the Genesect movie, I remember in my ranking I just wrote BOTFB. Like, what does that mean? I just said bottom of the fucking barrel. This movie, Clay, is like so bad. Like, because I remember it's like I did not put a number beside it. Because numbers, like, they can change. Like, as we kind of watch other movies, I'm like, no. This is staying at the bottom. This is so bad. This is so terrible. There's no way something could top this. Nothing, like, no other movie we're about to watch in this marathon is going to be worse than this. Nothing is going to get close. From what I remember, yeah, I mean, nothing was that bad. I don't think anything else got close. Oh, excuse me. And to me, it's because, like, those are the emotions. Bottom of the list, actively disliked, and so bad. So, I don't think it really works. So I'm like, all right, I rank all the F tiers, and then, all right, so this one's the bottom of the fucking barrel. Like, now that I've had time to ruminate on it. Because, like, I think the double S is, like, I'm giving out an important, I don't want to say important, like, you know, my opinion fucking means anything. But, it's like, this to me is an important distinction. This is my favorite of the marathon. I want to be able to ruminate on it. But a bottom of the fucking barrel ranking is based purely on emotion. And so, because I was thinking about it during Mr. Peabody and Sherman, I'm like, boy, I don't fucking like this movie at all. Is this a bottom of the fucking barrel? Like, it's at the bottom. It's actively disliked. I feel like there can be something worse. So I don't think it is. And now part of that might just be, I'm like, I know Spirit 2 exists, and apparently it's not good, and I don't really like the first one, and there's 2 Boss Baby movies, and I don't know. I don't know, Chief. But, again, I haven't seen them. I don't know. They could be good. I went to Mr. Peabody and Sherman thinking it was going to be fine. I thought it was going to be quite pleasant. And I was unpleasantly surprised. Boss Baby might pleasantly surprise me. Who the fuck knows? I certainly don't, but I'll find out relatively soon. So I don't think when I do the ranking, I can say, all right, now let's award the bottom of the fucking barrel. It'll just be like, we got to, like, when we get to it, it's going in there immediately, and I'm probably just gonna rag on it for 30 minutes. I actually really like thinking about, like, this is gonna be really fun. I know I've probably said it before, like, I want to do one for Ghibli as well, because I've seen all the movies. That does not have a bottom of the fucking barrel. Yeah, because I think I've said this exact shit before, like, this very same spiel. It has a worst movie. But the movie is so mercifully short. That's kind of like, its runtime is what actively saves it. I genuinely think if Earwig and the Witch was another, like, 20 minutes, it would be a bottom of the fucking barrel movie. But it was over so fast. It's like, all right. That could have been worse. It certainly could have been better. It could have had, like, anything going for it, but that could have been worse. Disney has two. They're dead ass two movies in the entire Disney marathon, which we haven't seen Strange World, which I've heard mixed things, but I don't think it would be a contender for that spot, but I could be wrong. But it dead ass has two movies I hated so much that I sometimes go back and forth between them. Which kind of just, it blows my mind that that's actually a thing that can happen with a ranking this so vehemently, like, aggressive. But wow, I hated Home on the Range. Wow, I hated Frozen 2. I think they're both trash. I hate Home on the Range a little bit more. I'm more consistent about that's the bottom of the fucking barrel, but God, Frozen 2 is barely above it. The other marathon we did was Pixar, which was The Good Dinosaur. I despise that movie. I really do. I like Brave a little bit more. Not by much. I think Brave is boring as sin, but it's not quite The Good Dinosaur. But I think that's officially it for this video. I can't really think of anything else to say, so now I'm just going to chew this in peace.